Welcome to your April 2025 horoscope forecast. April is very much a continuation of March. The first week, Mercury is still retrograde, and for the first 12 days, Venus is still retrograde. I did a thorough breakdown of Venus retrograde in the March video, but a lot of you will still be feeling relationship issues coming to the forefront, maybe exes reaching out, being nostalgic, and any relationship issues that are there can still be brought up all the way until May 16th. That is when the post-Venus retrograde ends. You can look back to what you were doing in March, April, May 2017, 2009. A lot of times we're playing out the same themes. The lessons are just a bit different to see if we have grown. Now let's get into more April astrology. April 2nd, Venus will conjunct with the North Node in the sign of Pisces. So we want something new, we're craving something new, but Venus is retrograde, so we really have to go within and figure out new ways to do relationships, new ways to relate to one another. April 7th, Venus will conjunct with Saturn in Pisces, and this is also the day where Mercury goes direct, so we can finally get better with communication and just be more clear with what we want. We can express our feelings a little bit better. But with Venus conjuncting Saturn, this can feel really heavy when it comes to relationships. It can feel like we are restricted in some way when it comes to money, love. April 12th, there is a full moon in Libra, and on this day, Venus goes direct. So this is fantastic. On the same day, Sun will conjunct with Chiron, and this is very healing energy. We can let go of what no longer serves us. And when we do that, we will be rewarded, because this is what this energy is asking. It's asking you to let go of what is no longer working. April 14th, Saturn will conjunct with the North Node at 26 degrees of Pisces, and this can give us a lot of restriction when it comes to relationships. But in general, wherever you have the sign of Pisces, this is where that restriction can come. But not just restriction, it could be added responsibility. Added responsibility you didn't ask for, but it's coming your way anyway. And the people most affected by this will be people who have planets in Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius from about 24 to 28 degrees. You can really feel like you're dealing with a burden or a responsibility. And in March, we had that lunar eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. So this is almost right there opposite. So it can have a feeling of fated events as well around the 14th. April 16th, Mercury will enter the sign of Aries. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. April 18th, Mars enters Leo. So on a personal level, we might all be dealing with the things we were dealing with December, January, as Mars is going back to the sign now, but now it's direct. So now you can get a handle of what to do better. April 19th, the Sun enters Taurus. April 20th, Venus will conjunct with the North Node, but this time Venus is direct, and we want to try something new. This can bring fated meetings or just exploring love in a different way for a lot of us. And this is really fantastic for going after relationships, money. April 20th, Venus will conjunct with the North Node, and this is where we want to explore, meet new people, fated meetings, and this is a good day for love and money because you want to try new things. Exciting day for relationships. April 24th, Venus will conjunct Saturn, and this day can bring restrictions when it comes to love, beauty, money. We can feel like there's a heavy cloud over us and things are just not working out when it comes to love and money. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus, and April 30th, Venus will enter the sign of Aries. In numerology, April is a month 13-4, and 4 is structure, law and order, work, money concerns, and I will say that April can bring a lot of concerns over finances, money. It can feel like we are working really hard, but not really seeing a result for our hard work. And the card 13 is the card of endings and change, dramatic events, transformation when it comes to tarot. So this is a month where a lot of us are cutting out what is no longer needed, and maybe a significant phase in our life is ending. And because of all this energy, I would say, especially where money and relationships are concerned, a lot of us can see endings or letting go of things and people, jobs, and situations that are no longer useful. So this month can feel this way. But with Mercury and Venus going direct, it can be that we want this change. We welcome it. We are clear about what we want. So you just have to do the hard work. This month is about doing the hard work. 4 does not like shortcuts. So do not take any shortcuts when it comes to your work, your money, your investments, your relationships. It's the kind of month where you must do the hard work to get ahead. If you guys like these horoscopes, then leave a comment, a like, and subscribe. I will leave everything timestamped down below so you can watch your individual horoscopes for the month of April. I'll see ya. Aries, the first half of the month with Mars in your 4th, there could be some arguments with family members within the home, or maybe you have to fix your vehicle. There could be things that need to be fixed around the house. Your attention is going to home, family, vehicles, your emotions for the first half of the month. On the 7th, Mercury goes direct, and this can bring a lot of clarity, especially with issues of health, finance, maybe even gossip behind the scenes, or maybe issues with siblings that you have had. So that can finally bring a lot of clarity. In the first 2 weeks of April, a lot of you can still have old love return, exes coming back from the past. With Venus still retrograding the first half of the month, this can happen. And look back to 2017, 2009. Were you going through the same thing? It could even be a redo of a relationship, or you are finally at a new level and you're realizing what you no longer want, what you no longer want to put up with. But a lot of you could also be just thinking about relationships from the past and healing a lot of those emotions that come up, or you're just reviewing all your feelings, all your close connections the first 2 weeks of the month. April 12th, there is a full moon in Libra, and this is your 7th house, and there could be a lot of emotions coming up. The sun is conjunct Chiron at 23 degrees of Aries, right opposite this moon. So there could be a lot of healing going on for a lot of us. And Venus on this day stations direct at 24 degrees of Pisces in your 12th house of the subconscious. What is going on behind the scenes? You could be letting go of a relationship, or you could be learning some secrets on or around this time that give you a lot of clarity. On the same day, Venus is trining Mars, so there is an increased desire for emotional connection, or just wanting to go after what you desire. And there's so much activity in Pisces, the node, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. You could be healing your emotional connections on or around this day, releasing what no longer serves you when it comes to romantic relationships, even business partners. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. You are becoming more and more aware of what you need and want within relationships. And with Venus going direct now, there's a lot of clarity, whether it's through finding out secrets, through letting go of a relationship that no longer serves you, it's not going well, or maybe it is that you let go of old relationship hang-ups on or around this time. There's a sort of big clarity, and it might even come to you through your dreams, through realizations, through what you find out. March 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, and you could be really focused on spiritual subjects right now. Or maybe you're working on something creative. There's a lot of inspiration coming to you. But this can also bring a lot of confusion, especially on account of work, debt, health, and maybe even confusion with your siblings, or something in your neighborhood could seem confusing on or around this day. 17th, 18th, 19th, Be more cautious of communication and even what people tell you, as you are more likely to be deceived. A lot of untruths could be coming at you. It's very nice for inspiration, for creativity, but it can also cause a ton of confusion and even in personal relationships. It is also going to be trining Mars in your 5th house. So if you are a creative person, you might even want to or be led to start a creative business or really work on a creative hobby, or maybe you're having more fun, more outings with your children because Mars enters a Leo on the 18th. So there's a lot of activity happening with your children, romantic partners, creative hobbies. Children can act up a little bit, maybe even want to pick fights with you, but really this can also mean that you're spending a lot of time with your children. You're spending a lot of time on hobbies, creative project, or even getting together with friends and just having a lot of fun. That is where the action is from about the 18th all the way to the end of the month for you, Aries, is the 5th house of fun, romance, creativity, or of course, maybe there's more action going on in your children's lives. April 27th, there is a new moon in Taurus. This is your 2nd house of possessions and income. Maybe you're buying yourself new possessions, or you will be, or your income is going to rise shortly. Maybe new doors opening up for you when it comes to work, making more money. The end of the month could bring some tension between maybe your hobbies, what you want to do, and resources, money, or maybe your children are wanting to start new hobbies and you're trying to allocate money for that for some of you. But this can also just mean that you're turning your creative hobbies into a business. You're starting to make more money, or you're going to over the next few months. There's a new window of opportunity when it comes to finances for you. I hope this was helpful, Aries. Taurus, welcome to your April horoscope. First 2 weeks of April, you're going to be going out more. Maybe you are learning a new skill. There could be issues that come up with electronic cell phones, or even arguments with siblings. On the 7th, Mercury goes direct, and this is going to make communication overall easier. Any issues with children and finances can also be resolved at this time. Or if there's been conflict with your friendship circles, things can finally get resolved. The first 2 weeks of April, Venus will still be retrograde, and there could be old friends that come into your life, or maybe you are really reminiscing about old friendships, old loves, and this can be rekindled for some of you. The 11th house is the love that you receive from other people, so you can actually receive a lot of recognition, especially for creative work, or maybe those of you who have children, something is going on in their lives. Maybe they are finding love themselves or making more money. And as with all Venus cycles, look back to 2017, 2009. Are you experiencing the same thing? Maybe going back to old friendships, or now you are completely going after all your hopes and dreams and you're just becoming more social. There is a full moon in Libra on April 12th, and of course, Venus is highly involved here, but what's really important on this day is Sun and Chiron are conjunct, so we can all be really releasing something, and it's very healing. On this same day, Venus also stations direct, a very powerful full moon. And this is also going to give us clarity with relationships. And for you, Taurus, this is a big deal because you are ruled by Venus. So all of a sudden you can get clarity. You're going to feel more like yourself. And Venus, the planet ruling over this full moon, is having a beautiful trine to Mars. So there's an increased desire for social connection and going after what you want. And the 6th house is a letting go of bad habits, maybe any debts or any kind of negative thinking patterns. You are releasing what no longer serves you so that you could just be better. And with Venus going direct, a lot of times it can be relationships, it can be bad habits, it can be our thinking process. Those of you who have a business or employees, it may even be that you are releasing some employees that you no longer find useful, or they're not exactly really great for your business. It could be that for some of you. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, this is falling into your 12th house. So there could be confusion on account of money, possessions, or maybe children, romantic partners, or maybe you're starting something behind the scenes, a creative hobby, a creative project. Be more cautious of communication, 17th, 18th, 19th, as you know, a lot of deception can happen, especially if it's in your 12th house. So really watch your finances on or around those days, or just any communication really in general, and watch out for escapism tendencies, as that is kind of what Neptune is known for. Really pay attention to your dreams. A lot of ideas could come to you through that. And the second half of the month, Mars will now enter your 4th house, so watch out for arguments at home, arguments with those that you live with, or even with your mother, or even things breaking down at home, maybe having to fix a car, or just, leaks in the home. Maybe you are just redecorating and totally redoing things in your house, but that is where the attention will be going, the focus for the end of the month. April 27th, there is a new moon in Taurus in your 1st house. And with that full moon we have, where you can be releasing bad habits, you can also be perfecting yourself through diet, exercise, and now you want to get new clothes, get new accessories, maybe a new hair color, haircut, and you are feeling more confident. There's a brand new opening in your 1st house, which is self-confidence. It's your looks, your personality. So you are completely becoming a better version of you. And at the end of the month, going into May, you're going to see that you're going to feel so much more confident. I hope this was helpful, Taurus. Gemini, the first week of April can still bring in a lot of confusion because your ruler Mercury is retrograding and in your 10th house, so there could be confusion with career, with superiors, with bosses, so be cautious of this. On the 7th, Mercury will go direct, and this is going to finally feel like you have clarity when it comes to work, when it comes to issues in the home, and even your general self-confidence, just being more confident within yourself, especially when it comes to your work and your career. You could really be getting ahead when it comes to your career in April. The first 2 weeks, Mars in your 2nd house can give you harsher speech, so be careful how you word things, but you're really going after your career, your finances. This can also lead you to overspend a little bit, so watch out for that, especially the first 2 weeks of April. Now, Venus still retrograding the first 2 weeks of April can bring friendships back from the past. Maybe you could reconnect, or even just reconnect online. For you, this can also bring back old loves, or you could be reminiscing about people from the past. They could be reaching out to you, maybe even reminiscing about the people that you had children with. For some of you, even if there's been a child you haven't talked to in a while, this can maybe reconnect the two of you together again. But with Venus retrograde, there is a kind of internal going within, and we're really trying to think about the past and resolve issues from the past. Look back to 2017 or even 2009. Were you getting pregnant? Were you having a child, falling in love, starting a creative hobby? Were your friendships changing? Were you changing your job? Did you get a promotion, a new job? And that will give you a clue. So March and April, but really the first half of the month for you is to go after your finances. Your career could be blossoming. And of course, you can have contact with friends from the past or be reminiscing, maybe even a reconciliation with an old lover for some of you, because of course, Venus rules the 5th house of love and romance for you. April 12th, there is a full moon in Libra. This is your 5th house of creativity, romance, children. And this can be a time where you are releasing a relationship that no longer serves you, and you can gain a lot of clarity when it comes to romantic partners, when it comes to love, when it comes to children, because Venus will be direct. You could also be releasing some hobbies that no longer bring you joy so that you could make more room in your life for new adventures. Venus, the ruler of this full moon, will be trine Mars, so you are going to be having an increased desire for social connection, and you're going to want to go after what you want, and this is the house of romance after all, so maybe you are beginning a new romantic venture, having children even. On the 17th, Mercury will be conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees in your 11th house. So be careful of miscommunication or getting deceived by groups that you belong to or even friendships. There could be misunderstandings with friendships, but this brings so much creativity. And if you are on social media, you work in a creative field, this can give you a lot of attention. It could also give you so much inspiration, and it could really lead you to think more in a spiritual way. You can start using your imagination for your creative business, especially if you are in a creative field or you're online. But if not, then just be more cautious of communication with friends around the 17th, 18th, 19th. On the 18th, Mars enters a Leo, and you're going to become more social. You're going to want to go out more, but watch out for miscommunication or even arguments with siblings. And this can be a time where you have a lot of desire to learn a new skill. The second half of the month, Gemini, you are more focused on skills and going out, having a good time in your neighborhood. More entertainment, more hanging out with friends. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus. It's your 12th house, what's hidden beneath the surface. And this can bring up a little bit of anxiety for you. There could be creative projects that are going on behind the scenes for you, but this can also bring back people from the past, or you could feel towards the end of the month where a lot of your friends or people around you are just draining your energy and you need to just recluse away from everybody towards the end of the month. I hope this was helpful, Gemini. Cancer, the first 2 weeks of April, you are motivated to begin something new. You have a lot of energy, and there could also be instances where you are very impatient with people. So do be cautious of this, especially because the first week, Mercury is still retrograde, and this can lead to misunderstandings, even conflict for some of you. The first 2 weeks of April, Venus is still retrograde. You can look back to 2017, 2009, because the same themes can be coming up in your life. Of course, people might be different, but you might be going over the same lessons when it comes to love, beauty, money. For you, this can even bring back family members you haven't spoken to in a while, friends you haven't spoken to in a while, or you could be reminiscing about old loves, or they could be reaching out to you, you to them. There could still be a lot of confusion when it comes to love, when it comes to money, the first 2 weeks of April. But at the same time, this could ignite your love, your passion for trying to learn something new, maybe finding a spiritual teacher, finding a book, or maybe even a documentary. There could just be something that leads you to a new passion or to study or learn some new skill. April 12th, we have a full moon in Libra. This is your house of home, family, mother, and you could be releasing maybe things that you no longer want or need within the home, or you could feel like you want to move. Some of you, maybe this is a literal move, or you're buying a new vehicle, getting rid of the old one. Venus, the ruler of this full moon, is stationing direct, so you're going to gain clarity when it comes to home, when it comes to skills, friendships, all of that. If you've been uneasy the first half of the month and all of March, you're finally gaining clarity at this point. Things are finally being revealed to you. And with Venus trining Mars, you have a desire to be very social, to go after what it is that you want. On this day, though, we also have Sun and Chiron conjuncting, suggesting we release any hurts, past anger, past pain. And some of you may be moving or changing jobs. So because of your career, you want to move, you want to find a new place to live. There's just a releasing happening. But for a lot of us, it could just be rearranging stuff, rearranging furniture, getting rid of old clothes, old utensils at home that we no longer need. Watch out for miscommunication. 17th, 18th, 19th. We have Mercury coming together with Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, but this can bring so much creativity and a new beginning when it comes to career for you guys. And this is where you had that solar eclipse in March. This is the new beginning, your career. A lot of you could be starting a career that's more spiritual, or very creative right now, and a lot of ideas could be coming to you. But of course, with Neptune, we have to be careful because we could be deceived. March 18th, Mars enters Leo, your second house of speech, finances, possessions. So be careful how you speak to people. You may say things you later regret. Also be careful with your money, as Mars in the second house leads to impulsive spending. So the second half of the month, you could be wanting to go shopping more. This can also be a time where you damage something, some of your possessions, or you could lose something. So be more cautious of that last 2 weeks of April. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus, your 11th house of groups, friendships, hopes, and dreams. And this can be a time where some of your hopes and dreams are coming true at the end of the month, going into May, or you're meeting new friends. You are networking more, you're going out more. You could even be joining spiritual communities or communities with people from all over the world, because the ruler of this new moon is in the 9th house. And of course, if you are on social media, you can gain a bigger following, more popularity, because the 11th house is the love that you receive. So towards the end of the month, you might finally feel like the star of the show, the star of your life, like you're finally receiving the love, the care, the attention from those around you. I hope that this was helpful, Cancer. Leo, the first half of the month with Mars in your 12th house, you could be dealing with a lot of gossip, people talking about you, even jealousy. You could have a hard time falling asleep. And of course, people can be draining you. You could feel like people are draining your energy. People, situations, and things from the past can be showing up, especially because the first 2 weeks we still have Venus retrograde. So even look back to 2017, look back to 2009, the first 2 weeks of April, Venus retrograde is still in your 8th house. And this can bring up a lot of transformation, lots of emotions that keep coming up for you to deal with that are from the past loves, past relationships, the give and take, because 8th house is the exchange of energy. And right now you are reevaluating where and what you want to put your energy into. And this can feel really deep, really emotional. This can even deal with money. So watch your money at this time, inheritances and the money that you share with a partner, money that you have in stocks and investments, taxes. And you could be going through a lot of this right now. So just be more cautious with your money. But remember, this could be a tougher time with Mars in your 12th house, Venus still retrograding in your 8th house. The beginning of April can still be a tougher time where you are really releasing and really thinking about who and what you want in your life. With Mercury going direct on the 7th, if there's been any kind of mishaps with financial papers, this can get resolved, but you can really be also into studying occult knowledge, astrology, tarot, learning a lot of secrets as well. You can have a lot of realizations. April 12th, we have a full moon in Libra, and this is the same day that Venus goes direct, and the same day where Sun comes together with Chiron. A lot of healing can be happening, and you could also be releasing outdated skills you no longer want to use. You can even be getting rid of old cell phones, old computers, things you no longer need. This can also be a time where you actually let go of a lot of social media. Maybe people that you follow change because you are ready for something new. You are reevaluating everything and everyone, because remember that Venus is in your 8th house and you are evaluating where you give energy to. You no longer want to give energy where it's not paying off. So you will be releasing that with this full moon. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, entering your 9th house of spirituality, higher education, travel. For a lot of you, there could be an urge to travel, to learn something. You could also want to learn or even teach something, especially dealing with spirituality, creativity. You could become extremely creative, but watch your communication around the 17th, 18th, 19th, especially communication when it comes to money, possessions, and of course with teachers, with judges, if you're involved in any legal case or anything like that, because there can be some deception. On April 18th, Mars will enter Leo. So all of a sudden, the second half of April, you are motivated to begin something new, maybe even working out. You want to be out. You don't want to be reclusive anymore, but you can be a little bit more argumentative. So watch out for that. But you are going to be very driven the second half of the month. April 27th, there is a new moon in Taurus. This is your 10th house. So there could be a new beginning to your career. A new job, a promotion, being seen, being recognized for your work. So the end of April and into early May, you can see new beginnings opening up for you career-wise. I hope that this was helpful, Leo. Virgo, we're going into April with Venus and Mercury still retrograde. Mercury will finally turn direct on the 7th, and this should give you a lot of clarity. You should feel a lot better because you are ruled by the planet Mercury. It rules your first house and your 10th house of career, and it is in your 7th house, which tells me the big focus is on all kinds of relationships, love relationships, business relationships. And with Mercury going direct, you can finally gain a lot of clarity when it comes to the area of relationships. With Mars being in the 11th house for the first half of the month, there could be arguments with friends, or they could at least irritate you a little bit. There is a beautiful trine from Venus in your 7th to Mars in your 11th, which tells me you could be really going after your dreams and you could garner a lot more attention. So if you have a business, you're on social media, a lot more popularity could be coming to you. And the first 12 days of April, Venus is still retrograding, but it is in your 7th house of romantic relationships, all kinds of relationships. And this is the time where you can actually see people from the past reaching out to you, you reaching out to them. With Venus in Pisces, we are more nostalgic. With Mercury also there, the North Node, there could be a lot of communication with people from the past. Maybe you just run into them. Maybe you are just reevaluating your love life a lot in the month of April. Some of you may even start a significant relationship with the nodes in your 7th house. You are going to be meeting a lot of people. And this could be the very beginning for you, Virgo. Venus goes in 8-year cycles. And 8 years ago was 2017. But now that Venus is in Pisces, look back to April and May of 2017, because it's not until May 16th of 2025 that the post shadow of Venus retrograde ends. So you may actually see people from the past come back all the way up until then, or maybe you just really reevaluating everything about love until then. Some of you can even meet somebody very significant, start a romantic relationship, or completely change the way that you want to do relationships. But you could also be picking up a lot more clients if you have a business. Maybe meet a new business partner. You could meet people that could take you in a really great business direction. April 12th, there is a full moon in Libra, and this is your 2nd house of finances, possessions. Some of you maybe are letting go of a source of income, a job, or maybe possessions that used to bring you joy and they no longer do. But this day is when Venus goes direct, and there could be a lot of clarity for you when it comes to finances, when it comes to shared resources, and when it comes to relationships on or around this day. But this is also a very healing day. The sun is coming together with Chiron in your 8th house. There could be a lot of healing for you, and this could have to do with the give and take of money and relationships as it's happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is about resources, but it is also about energy. Where do you give energy to? Do you get the same in return? Venus is now direct. It's ruling over your 2nd house. You can gain a lot of self-confidence by letting go of all the stuff and people that do not match your energy. Venus now going direct in your 7th, trining Mars in your 11th. You could see a lot more financial growth over the next few months. And with the ruler of this full moon in your 7th house tells me that more self-confidence to go after what it is that you want will come from your relationships. Not just spouse or partner, but all kinds of contacts, clients, business partners, just interacting more with people. People are taking you to a whole new place, Virgo, and you are no stranger to relationship dynamics changing. First, for 14 years, you've had Neptune in your 7th house, so you could have been exposed to lying, cheating, deception within relationships, and then Saturn is coming in to structure all that and pretty much only keep what is working, only keep the relationships that are good. And now the North Node is coming in for the next year and a half and saying, hey, we want you to experience something new. So new people will enter your life. They will lead you to a better place. So you have to trust and open yourself up. And that is what Saturn is doing in there. It's letting you do the work, the hard work, so that you are ready to make a new commitment. April 17th, Mercury will exactly be conjunct with Neptune in your 8th house at 0 degrees of Aries. From the 17th to the 20th, you could become very spiritual. You could want to dig deep when it comes to secrets, the mysteries of life. But this is also a time where you could be a little bit confused when it comes to finances, shared resources. So be very cautious with taxes, with any contracts, with any paperwork, so you are not deceived. Now, the second half of the month, Mars will be in your 12th house. So watch out for gossip, jealousy. And this could be a time where you have a hard time falling asleep. You're going to be all consumed with 8th house subjects and research and trying to find stuff out that your mind may be going a mile a minute the second half of April, and you have a hard time falling asleep. Of course, people from the past can show up, and with this Neptune and Mercury coming together in the 8th house, you could have a lot of healing from past situations. You can just have these moments of clarity like you've never had before. Saturn and North Node are basically hovering, coming together there in your 7th house, and they are exactly opposite of that March 13th lunar eclipse, giving us more responsibilities. Saturn rules your 5th house of children, creativity, romance, and your 6th house of daily routine. There could be a new creative project, a new creative venture, a new romantic partner, something that brings a lot more responsibility to you. 7th house is responsibility to others. So maybe it is creative for some of you. Maybe for some of you, it's very routine. Maybe for some of you, it's a new romantic relationship, but there is a new responsibility coming in for you. And this could even be in the form of love, in the form of clients, in the form of children, in the form of a creative project, all different for a lot of you. But the reason it's a responsibility is at first it may seem like a burden, but then later as you keep doing it, you're going to see a whole new area of life opening up for you, which is exactly what North Node is doing in your 7th house. It is opening you up to people, new clients, new love. All of that is coming to you within the next year and a half. And at first, it may seem like a burden, like a lot of responsibility, something you don't want to take on. And you may start feeling that at the end of April. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus. That's your 9th house of higher education, spirituality, travel. Both the full and new moon in April is ruled by Venus, and Venus is so important because it's going direct. So a lot of you can gain a lot more confidence, maybe from learning a new skill, from travel, from going beyond what's just in your own little community. This new moon is also going to bring you a lot more luck. The 9th house is the house of luck. So you're going to feel like you are just expanding your consciousness, expanding your horizons at the end of the month. Like things are finally starting to look up, and you know where you're going, you know what you want. So it's going to feel a lot smoother, a lot calmer. I hope that this was helpful, Virgo. Libra, April starts out with Mercury and Venus still retrograde. Now, Mercury will finally turn direct on the 7th, which maybe you could be solving things with your health. You're starting to work out because that is also where Venus is retrograding in your 6th house. So you could be working out, starting a new diet plan, beautifying yourself, or just changing up your routine. Those of you who own a business could be hiring new employees, or maybe if you work somewhere, the employees, the people that you work with are changing. Maybe there is something that's not known yet there when it comes to the people that you work with. And look back to 2017, maybe even 2009, because the themes of Venus are repeating, especially April of 2017, because at first Venus was retrograding in your 7th house, and there could have been changes, shakeups within personal relationships. And now it's shifting to work, employees, health, and habits, trying to get fitter, change up your diet, and maybe even you find out that some of the people that you work with are not as good. They're dishonest in some way. Because of that retrograde, there could be a lot of shakeups for you at work, at your job. There could still be a lot of nostalgic feelings about past relationships for the first 2 weeks of April, but really even up to May 16th, because that is when the post-shadow of Venus retrograde ends. There still could be a lot of shakeups within relationships, or you just feeling nostalgic about the past, maybe people reaching out to you, and you are ruled by Venus. So the first 2 weeks of April, you could still feel like you don't really know where you stand within relationships. The first part of the month with Mars in your 10th house, be more cautious with bosses, superiors, even any authority figures, even if you're driving fast so you don't get a speeding ticket, because Mars is in your 10th house. This will make you very goal-oriented. Maybe you're getting a promotion at work, or you're just trying to move up the ladder. You're working really hard, but it can cause a lot of discord with bosses or anybody of authority. April 12th is when Venus finally stations direct, and we have a full moon in Libra. So you can finally start feeling like yourself, and you are transforming. Some of you are letting go of old habits that aren't good for you, maybe even completely transforming your look with a brand new haircut, letting something go. For a lot of you, this day also brings so much healing because the Sun and Chiron are at 23 degrees of Aries in your 7th house. And you could be letting go of the way you used to do relationships, maybe letting go of old relationships that no longer serve you for a lot of you. There could also be someone new that comes into your life and you find it very healing, like it's finally fitting for you. Venus will also be trining Mars, so you have this increased desire for social connection, especially when it comes to business and work, and you're going after what you want, maybe signing new contracts, attaining new clients, those of you who have a business. On the 17th, Mercury will be conjuncting with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. And for you, Libra, this could be a beginning of a new relationship, something that feels spiritual, something that feels like you were karmically connected before, or you just feel like it's meant to be. A lot of you could be beginning a new romantic relationship. Just be very cautious, because a lot of times with Neptune, we can attract people with escapism tendencies, or we can even just fantasize and form an illusion about the relationship, and it's not the reality. So be more cautious when you are dating new people. April 18th, Mars will enter your 11th house, and this could be where there's more arguments with friends, maybe even arguments with older siblings, or just kind of friendships changing, but you're wanting to be more social. You want to put yourself out there more, especially when it comes to social media. Essentially, bosses, employees could be pissing you off the first half of the month, and your friends could be pissing you off the second half of the month. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus, another Venus sign. And this means that there's a new beginning for you when it comes to shared resources, intimacy. Maybe some of you are starting to learn some occult knowledge, as well as you're gaining more finances, maybe through a partner, through a spouse, or through clients, gains through the stock market. You could also be approved for a loan that you need, maybe for a home, a car. You could also be taking an intimate relationship to the next level and maybe just bonding, becoming a little bit closer. But this is also when you guys could be transforming your looks, maybe a little bit of your wardrobe as well. I hope that this was helpful, Libra. Scorpio, in the beginning of the month, you could be focused on learning a new skill, travel, making travel plans. There could be some conflict maybe with teachers, judges, but there could also be conflict finally getting resolved within friendship circles when Mercury turns direct on the 7th. Or maybe there is just a lot of changes going on within friendship circles. First 2 weeks of the month, Venus is still retrograding in your 5th house, and this could bring back nostalgia for past lovers, or maybe even that they reach out to you. This could also be a time where you feel like you're falling in love. Venus rules over your relationships, and it's in the 5th house of romantic relationships, falling in love. So April could still bring in a lot of confusion about which way you should go within romantic relationships. It could be you are dating someone new, or you're having a lot of fun times with your children. Some of you could even be investing your money into the stock market, finding a new hobby that you really connect with. But look back to what you were doing in March, April, even May of 2017. A lot of the same themes can be playing out. So for you, it could be love, children, creativity, hobbies. And for the first 2 weeks, there could still be things that come up in this department. Maybe you aren't as trusting as you should be. You want to let someone in, but you feel like you can't fully trust. And for it to work, you have to completely open up your heart to other people. Now on the 7th, Mercury goes retrograde, so this can bring a lot of conversation in about love, creativity, children, even investments. With the March lunar eclipse in your 11th house, there is a lot of feelings of maybe letting go of certain friendships or groups that you belong to. But there's also this feeling of the give and take in relationships. With the North Node in your 5th house, the 5th house is about love, it's about heart, what you're in love with. So there could be a lot of questions you're asking yourself, like, am I getting what I am putting out? Should I be more trusting? Should I be less trusting? Because it's in that access, and a lot of those feelings could be coming up. April 12th, there is a full moon in Libra in your 12th house, and this can signify old love patterns coming into your life, or just relationship patterns in your subconscious, and maybe you are letting some things go. Unhealthy ways you have done relationships, you might be releasing at this point. An old love can come back into your life, but this could also be where you finally realize what you need, what you want on a subconscious level. For a lot of you, this can be the time when you are just releasing bad relationship patterns. After April 12th, things in the love department can start to finally make more sense. You can finally have a grasp on what it is that you want. Venus is also trining Mars, so there's going to be a lot of desire for social connection from you, and you might want to go after what you want. So a lot of those things that you have in your head that sometimes hold you back from love, from relationships, from connecting with others can finally disappear. You can finally have the courage to open up your heart. A lot of times, Scorpios, you're not as trusting. You want everyone else to be very trusting, but you're not as trusting, and this full moon can have you let go of that. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune in your 6th house, and this can bring confusion, maybe with work, with health for some of you, and just be more cautious that you don't get deceived, especially if you have employees or you're hiring new people on or around this time. On the 18th, Mars enters Leo, so you're really going after your career goals the second half of the month, Scorpio. You're putting in so much more effort into work. Some of you could even be advancing in your career, but be careful because there could be problems and issues with bosses, with the people that you work with, people of authority during the second half of April. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus. This is your house of committed relationships. So it could be a relationship is becoming more serious. You could be meeting somebody new within the next few months, or even signing new contracts, new business partners, attaining more clients, and just meeting a lot of new people. And it could be career, it could be personal. Towards the end of April, your love life is really looking up. I hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Sagittarius, the first half of April with Mars in your 8th house, things from the past can come up, especially when it concerns finances, joint finances, issues with money, taxes, insurance. It could even be that issues with trust, issues with relationships come up because Venus is still retrograding the first 2 weeks of the month. Look back to March and April of 2017. A lot of those same themes are coming up now for review for a lot of you, and this could be with relationship, old love. There could be a lot of nostalgia. You could be in contact with people from the past. And for you, the first part of this has to do with children. So maybe there is something going on in the lives of your children, having children, your children having children, or some new exciting project, a new exciting investment. But now in April, it's home. Maybe you're rearranging your home, redecorating your home, thinking about buying a new vehicle, or you are really thinking about moving. Some of you, home and family will become the focus of the Venus retrograde part in April. Now, the good part is Mercury will be going direct, so communication will be going much smoother, especially when it comes to communication with family for a lot of you. April 12th, we have a full moon in Libra. This is your 11th house of groups and friendships, and this could be a time where maybe there's changes within your friendships, or you're letting go of certain friendships, even certain social media connections, certain acquaintances. On this day, Sun and Chiron are joining together at 23 degrees of Aries, opposite that. So there could be a lot of healing when it comes to relationships, love relationships, the relationships with your friends, with your children. And Venus is in trine with Mars, so you have this increased desire for a lot of social connection, and you want to go after what it is that you desire. A lot of you, it could be attaining your hopes and dreams. Maybe you are starting a creative business, you're on social media, so there could be new hobbies, new creative ventures. You're finding friendships that are a lot more fulfilling in your life as well. So this is a time where friends from the past can come back into your life, or you feel like there's a lot of celebrations when it comes to children, friends. April 17th, we have Mercury coming together with Neptune in your 5th house. So be cautious with any new investments. Things may seem too good to be true when it comes to a new love affair, a new creative venture, or even investment. So from the 17th to the 20th, be more cautious with that. With Neptune, we sometimes don't see reality. It does bring in spiritual connection, a lot of creativity, and we just want to do something. We just want to start something because we're feeling really inspired. April 18th, Mars will enter Leo. So for the second half of the month, you're going to be focused on learning a new skill. Travel plans, travel documents, but watch out, there could be disagreements with teachers, with judges, and things that you have to work out, especially when it comes to paperwork. If you are traveling the second half of April, there could be some annoyances or things going haywire with travel plans. The second half of the month can seem heavy for some because we have Saturn and North Node basically coming together, hovering just opposite of where the March 13th lunar eclipse was, and this is your home and family. There could be a lot of fears around family. Maybe there's something going on in the lives of your parents, your home. It could feel like there's a lot of burden and responsibility being put onto you from your family towards the end of the month. April 27th, we have a new moon in your 6th house, a brand new beginning when it comes to diet, exercise, or just making yourself look better, feel better, because that is the 6th house. It's the house of health and routine. This could also mean that the people that you work with are changing. Some of you who have a new company, maybe you're hiring new people. You could just be shifting your day-to-day schedule around and getting really organized towards the end of the month. I hope that this was helpful, Sagittarius. Capricorn, the first 2 weeks of April, there could be some disagreements with business partners, with your relationships. There could just be more aggravation when it comes to relationships overall. There could also be strong attractions to new partners during the first half of April. And if you are having a lot of arguments with a partner, a spouse, it is time to get active together so you can work out that energy. On the 7th, Mercury is finally going direct, and this should ease all communication with everybody all around the world. So this is a plus, but Venus is still retrograde for the first 2 weeks of April. You could look back to March, April, even May of 2017 because a lot of these themes might be playing out. And the first half of Venus retrograde was having you reflect on your home and family situation. And now with Venus being exalted in the sign of Pisces in your house of communication, you are really thinking about your skill sets. It could be that you are taking on new skills, learning new skills, reevaluating how you spend your time, where you put your energy into. And this could also mean that your siblings are having changes within their relationships, or your neighborhood is changing in some way. There could be skills you need to update for work, or you feel like some of your equipment, your phone, computers are outdated, and you could be thinking of switching this up. This Venus retrograde can also bring back friends from the past, maybe even people that you used to work with, people that you still live around you in your neighborhood. This is a time where maybe you run into them or touch base with them even online. And of course, with all Venus retrograde cycles, we can have relationship issues come up to the forefront to be dealt with. So there could be exes from the past that contact you or you contact them. This isn't for everybody, but a lot of times this can happen. This can occur. April 12th, we have a full moon in your house of career and public image, and this is the same day that Venus finally stations retrograde, giving you a lot of clarity of where you should put your effort into. And this could mean you letting go of a source of income, things at your job may be changing, or some of you maybe just wanting to leave a job altogether and gather new skills and start something of your own. On this same day, we have Sun and Chiron coming together in your fourth house of home and family. And this is a really good day for healing, for letting go of anything that no longer serves you. But we also have Venus trining Mars. So there's this increased desire for social connection, for wanting to go after what you desire. And for you, this could be a new relationship, a new job, meeting new clients, meeting new business partners. So there is a sense of letting go so that we can have bigger and better growth with this full moon. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune in the house of home and family for you. And this can bring in some confusion with family members. If you are buying a house or buying a car, make sure you really look over the paperwork. So something doesn't seem too good to be true from the 17th to maybe the 21st. On the 18th, Mars will enter your 8th house. So issues from the past can come up, or issues with money and joint finances, taxes, insurance policies during the second half of the month. April 27th, we have a new moon in Taurus. This is your 5th house of love, creativity, fun, investing. Both the new and full moon are in a Venus sign this month. Venus is going direct. And finally, at the end of the month, there is some fun for you, Capricorn. This is a time where you could just start having a lot of fun. You could be falling in love, having more fun with your children, thinking about investing into the stock market, starting a creative venture. Some of you going out, maybe parties, concerts. It's a lot of fun, a lot of love for you at the end of the month. And this is fantastic for you because at the end of April, going into May, going into the summer, you guys can finally let loose, have some fun. You're always so serious. You guys have had all these rough transits, so it's finally going to feel like your life is coming together, going to feel like you can actually enjoy yourself, because after all, that is what the 5th house is about, enjoying ourselves. I hope that this was helpful, Capricorn. Aquarius, the first half of the month, you might be getting fit, changing up your diet routine, maybe joining some competition that you are involved in, or just becoming more competitive, especially when it comes to work. Maybe you are paying off your bills. If you have a business, people work for you, people work under you, they could piss you off the first half of the month, or it seems like they're not getting their stuff done. You could get irritated with them. Now on the 7th, Mercury finally goes direct, and this is really fantastic for you if there has been any miscommunication, especially about finances, possessions, bills. These can finally get resolved. And even in the areas of joint finances and the areas of children and creativity, things can finally start moving forward with Mercury going direct. For the first 2 weeks of April, we still have Venus retrograde. So you can still be reminiscing about the past, reevaluating all of your relationships, reevaluating your beauty routine, money, finances, especially for you, Aquarius, because that is where it's happening for you. Look back to March, April, May of 2017. A lot of these same themes are coming up right now. You are reviewing your finances. You are reviewing maybe even your beauty routine, the products you buy, what you spend your money on, your self-worth, the way you make money, how much money you bring in. You could be questioning all of this the first 2 weeks of April. Even reevaluating where you want to live, your home decor, and of course, maybe even travel plans or plans to publish something or teaching, learning something. This could also be getting evaluated. And of course, relationship issues still can come up to the forefront. And of course, for some of you, this can still mean that you are in contact with people from the past. You are maybe even nostalgic, daydreaming about your past relationships, going over what went right, what went wrong. April 12th, we have a full moon in Libra. This is in your 9th house of spirituality, higher education, your philosophical thinking. And this could be where you let go of thinking patterns that you've held on to for a long time. This is a very healing full moon because we have Venus going direct on this day. Sun and Chiron are conjoining together right opposite in your third house. So it's your thoughts, your thought patterns, and the things that you've been putting effort into. You are going to let go of what no longer serves you, and you're going to start thinking in a more positive way. And on this day, we also have Venus trining Mars. So you have this desire for social connection, and think ninth house, global connection. You know, you want to make a community to either learn something new, let go of limiting beliefs. All of a sudden, you're going to think in a more positive way and let go of limiting belief patterns. So this is a very, very healing full moon energy. And with Venus direct, you can finally gain clarity on your relationships, on your finances. So after this full moon, you're going to feel a lot more secure within yourself. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, and this is your third house of communication, skills, even networking, especially online. You guys could begin an extremely creative project that you want to learn, that you want to teach. Maybe you are learning something very creative, how to do it online, blogging, photography, video making. You're turning a creative project into something that you want to make profitable. But of course, with Neptune, we have to always remember that there could be some deception. So you could be getting ahead of yourself with this project. And of course, watch out for miscommunication online with your peers and with your siblings on or around the 17th, 18th, 19th. April 18th, Mars will enter Leo. This is your relationship sector. So you can have some arguments with your romantic partner, your spouse, even clients and business partners. But there could be strong attractions for those of you who are single. If you do find yourself fighting with your spouse or partner, it is time to get active together. Go out and do something active to alleviate some of that energy. But with Neptune trining Mars, you and your partner could be working on a passionate project together, or maybe even you and a business partner. Essentially, when it comes to Mars, the first half of the month, your employees could be pissing you off a little bit, and during the second half of the month, your spouse or partner could be aggravating you a little bit more. And while Saturn's there right next to the North Node most of the month, you guys can feel like there's just added responsibility for you, especially when it comes to possessions, family, and finances. You could feel like a lot is riding on you to make money, to make everyone feel secure. So you could just feel like there is a lot more work thrown at you towards the end of the month, like you're taking on more of a burden. April 27th, there is a new moon in Taurus in the house of home and family. Both the new and full moon this month are a Venus-ruled moon. And with Venus being direct at the end of the month, you could be wanting to redecorate. Maybe you want to buy a new vehicle. You want to update your home. Maybe some of you are getting a pet, welcoming a new member to the family, thinking about a move even. There's a brand new beginning when it comes to your home, your family, your security. And this could also mean that there's new things going on in the lives of your parents, and I hope that this was helpful for you, Aquarius. Pisces, in the beginning of April, we can still be hearing back from exes or being really nostalgic, and even maybe talking to people in the family we haven't spoken to in a while. Good thing is, on the 7th, Mercury, which rules your 4th house of home and family and your house of romantic partners, is going direct, so communication can be more clear, and if there have been problems, they can be worked out. Venus is still retrograde for the first 12 days of April, but it is now in Pisces, in the sign of exaltation. For you, this can bring back an old love, someone you feel like you have a spiritual connection to. You could really be falling in love, but for you, this is also analyzing your looks, your wardrobe, your makeup, your haircut. Look back to March, April, even May of 2017. A lot of the same themes are coming up for review, or you could even be going back that far and reviewing what happened back then. The first 2 weeks, there could still be relationship problems that need to be gone over, but really for you, it's about you, your image, where you're going in this world. And a lot of you could still be feeling the effects of the March lunar eclipse in your 7th house, especially if your ascendant is near 24 degrees of Pisces. A lot of you could feel like your relationships are changing. Some of you could be getting married, buying a new house, starting a job. Big, huge changes are happening for you, Pisces. Of course, not all of you, but some Pisces could have even let go of a relationship around March, April, May. Maybe you are reconsidering a relationship, a marriage. The first 2 weeks of April, you also have Mars in your 5th house. So you are really involved maybe in a creative project. This is a time where if you have children, they could be acting up a little bit. Some of your investments could be going a little bit haywire, but this is also a time where you could really be involved in a new romance for a lot of you. So that first 2 weeks of April, we're still feeling a lot of emotions. And for you, Pisces, I mean, you are completely changing. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Pisces are completely changing their looks and what they like to wear, where they like to go. A lot of you are also focused on health. April 12th, we have a full moon in Libra, and this is your 8th house of shared resources. For some of you, this could be a time where your spouse or partner loses a source of income, or you don't want to depend on them anymore. The Sun and Chiron are joining together in your 2nd house, showing that there's a lot of healing going on, especially when it comes to your self-worth and self-esteem. And a lot of you could be taking your power back. You are reanalyzing where you give too much or where you don't get enough back in return with this full moon. And Venus is also going direct on this day, which could finally stabilize all your relationships and really give you clarity on your love life. Venus is also trining Mars, so you are really increasing your desire for connection with other people. You want to go after what you desire, and this could be creative hobbies. It could also be a new romantic love interest for some of you. So this is a very healing full moon. Full of a lot of transformation though, because the ruler of this full moon is in your 1st house, just now stationing direct. So this can be a time where a lot of you literally completely change your looks. I mean, some of you could even be undergoing plastic surgery or completely shifting how you look, how you appear to the outside world. April 17th, Mercury will conjunct with Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries in your 2nd house. But this could really be you working on a passion project with your partner, somebody from your family. Be very cautious buying new things or with any new job offers, as things may seem too good to be true, or there might be some deceit. You could even uncover some lies, deceit when it comes to finances from a partner or even from a coworker or people that work for you. Around the 17th, 18th, 19th, with Neptune, we can sometimes miss the little details. And on the 18th, Mars is going into your 6th house. The 2nd half of the month, you're all about getting healthy, getting fit, you're paying off debt, you're becoming more competitive. But at this time, if you have employees, co-workers, people that work under you, they could be pissing you off a little bit or maybe not doing their share, not doing their part. And this can make you a little bit more impatient. I will say the 2nd half of the month could be a little bit heavy for those of you who have an ascendant from 23 to 26 degrees of Pisces, as Saturn and the North Node are coming together, just hovering there over your ascendant. It can be a time where you are forced to take on new responsibilities. This can also be a time where you feel like you're blocked, restricted, especially when it comes to your relationship, your significant other, maybe your home. You have to delegate more responsibility. And this is also when you have to confront some of your unconscious fears, because that is what Saturn does. It puts everything out on the table and you have to take care of it. So it can feel a little bit heavy towards the end of the month. April 27th, there is a new moon in Taurus. This is your 3rd house, and this could be a time where you want to learn a new skill. You want to promote yourself online, going out, exploring your town at the end of the month, but it does signify that you want to learn something new. You're updating your skills. You could also be buying a new computer, a new cell phone, new software to do your job, or just for your creative ventures. Catch up with friends, watch some YouTube videos. A lot of times we want to connect more to media when we have a new moon in the 3rd house. I hope that this was helpful for you. Like and subscribe for more.